right, welcome back to Booked and Broken. Diego Wiener with my co-host, Alfredo Rubio. So I'll tell you, I went to the gym this morning, begrudgingly. It was not what I wanted to be doing on a Sunday morning. I'll tell you, I think I would have loved to go to, what's that new little coffee shop truck on like US 1 in Coconut Grove? Ophelia.
Oh
my God. Have you seen what they got in that little truck?
No.
It's like you drive up to the truck and they got like a window with all the baked goods and the coffee and I will tell you, I may or may not have had one of their Cinnabon like coffee ones.
How many times?
No, I'm not doing that. Janelle might see this. I'm not doing that.
I gotta be honest. I've never heard of that place. I haven't been. But down US 1, kind of Coconut Grove-ish area, is the it's like a little shopping center there. Have you seen that Black Sheep coffee spot?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You know what? I went and I thought it was gonna be like super commercial, like another attempt at a Starbucks.
Yeah.
It was not. It's like the coffee's good. I didn't have the baked goods because Janelle was with me, but
I went with my girl, Yanni, and I went, and usually Yanni will have like a cup, if that. Yeah. She doesn't always finish it. Like, she loves coffee, but she doesn't finish it because she's bonita, so she wants her colada. But we sat there. We were there kind of like doing our own thing. I was working on stuff. She was working on stuff. And we both had 2 full-blown cups of coffee. And I was kind of shocked. I've done that all the time. But she was like, this coffee is fantastic. And I was like,
hold on. I know we're all trying to be on the diet and everything. Was this like black coffee or was this like a latte with sugar?
So for me, it's always black coffee. No sugar, no creamer. That's just how I drink coffee. I mean, that's just how I drink my coffee. Do I have it once in a while with like the vanilla, a little bit of oat milk? Sure, but I honestly don't like it as much. It's too sweet for me. I really just like black coffee. That's what I love. But she has it with like the caramel or the tiramisu.
Yanni, he's throwing you under the bus. I'm just saying.
But she eats significantly healthier than I do. So she's allowed to have her coffee.
Hedge your bet. I like
exactly. There you go. But no, I mean, we had that. I mean, jumping into that, everyone's talking about all this healthy and diet, longevity stuff going on. I mean, what do you think of this?
And I'll tell you, I mean, we going back to before I got sidetracked with baked goods and coffee or whatever, that, I was at the gym, I go to Lifetime, a ton of really health conscious people. One of the reasons I like Lifetime in the Gables, because it's got that vibe. Everyone there seems to have the same kind of goal.
Mindset and goal, right?
But, and I become a victim to it too, man. I watch longevity podcasts, you read news articles, and now, let's say you see articles about the GLP-1s being good, not just for weight loss, but potentially to stop cancer and all this other stuff. Also, you read all about peptides, which is all the new buzz.
Have you heard about that peptide? Was it like HBC157 or something like that?
Is it the one that makes you beastly? I don't know.
No. I was one of my buddies was talking about it the other day. It's the one that helps like with cell regeneration. He swears by it, dude. He really swears by it.
I haven't looked into it deeply enough to be like, oh yeah, I know that one. I know peptides are supposed to help.
Yeah.
But I think I saw a reel from an influencer today while I was on the treadmill.
Yeah.
Or the elliptical, since I don't really get on a treadmill, but whatever. And it was basically like, are we getting fatigued with this? Like, not so much fatigue, but like, do you lose something as far as your quality of life when every focus and every media outlet and everything is telling you to be more conscious about longevity? Listen, I don't criticize longevity. We all want to be here as long as we can. I don't drink. That's part of, my effort to be healthy or whatever. But, is it too much? And I think that particular influencer was using Stephen Bartlett's Diary of a CEO we were talking about. Great podcast. And, I've seen a few episodes and a lot of them are, longevity centric.
Right.
So what do you think, man? I mean, we live in Miami. You see, this, I think we've seen in the last 10 years a ridiculous surge of new gyms, new restaurants, new this, new that. And it's all weight loss, longevity. Is it, I don't want to say that too much, but do we lose something maybe like not just in the culture of Miami, but let's say in yourself by focusing too much, by obsessing?
I mean, I guess it's such a subjective viewpoint on something like that, right? Like, of course, I need to be healthier, although I've lost like 100.
We all.
I mean, yeah, you look great. I look good. I'm still on the journey and losing more weight as I've had so far. But I don't know if it's too much. Do I think that the social media push of the longevity, let's call it the longevity story, let's call it that, is too much? Yeah, I think people are just jumping on the wagon just because of with everything in social media nowadays. It's like, what's the hip thing? What's going viral? What's this? What's that? Versus just being true to yourself and your own things. They're just trying to follow trends. And you and I just kind of always do our things, and it is what it is. If it's on trend, cool. If it's not, cool.
Yeah.
We just are who we are. So I don't think it's too much. There are a lot of businesses popping up in Miami. Miami has always been, I guess, more of a health-centric city, right? Like we're always on the more of the, you have the yogas and the gyms and the everything in whole as a city. I don't know if it's too much as far as the businesses go. I think it's getting oversaturated for a lot of these businesses because it seems like we went from having smoothies or bowls, these bowl businesses, with rice bowls and salad bowls, were here and there, and now they're at every single corner. What is it? Smoothie spot. I saw it one time. I was like, oh, that's a cool little spot. And then within a year, there was like 6 more. Like, what the hell? Like I just found this place out. So me personally, I don't think in the sense of like day-to-day Miami, it's too much. I do feel like social media push of it is a bit excessive, and a lot of people believe in it, and that's their truth, and that's what they follow. And a lot of people are just saying it to follow whatever trend is going on nowadays. I think that's my kind of like personal 2 cents on it. What about you?
And I'll tell you, I think it has just, like when people like base their life on social media and you see like the 23 and we talk about this a lot, as millennials, we're what age range is like, I don't know where it starts, like 25 to like 40. I don't know what the millennial range is.
No, I don't know.
We're millennials.
Yeah.
And I guess my comment is, we grew up in this generation where it was really maybe one of the first generations where like social media, like he's constantly hitting you with, what you should be doing, how progressed in life you should be. Yeah. And it used to be about, Ferraris and Lambos and, the yacht and the this. And while it continues to be that.
The vision board.
Exactly. I can proudly claim I never had one. So
I had a mental one.
Oh, well, yeah.
I had a board.
But I guess my comment is, does it also have the effect of kind of, here we are, most of us work full jobs, we're both lawyers.
Yep.
I'm in criminal defense. That's a 24-hour job. You're in PI, also a 24-hour job.
100%.
And, you keep reading these ridiculous comments like, oh, you should get, 8 to 9 hours of sleep every night. Is that really realistic when you're getting caught in the middle of the night sometimes? You should eat healthy where I got 20 minutes in the middle of a trial to get lunch, but you got to prep the next witness. Right. You should take time to really unwind and relax when, you're spending the entire weekend in the office preparing to, to represent that person or that person's interests. So it's not just from my perspective of, hey, should we try to be healthier? Of course, we should try to be healthier. Everyone tries to be healthier. But I guess it's, do you also have that like keeping up with the Joneses, but not just in a financial sense, but like in a health sense,
right? Like, you conscious world.
Exactly. Like you end up believing that you're like, oh well, shit, I'm way less healthy than everybody else because I'm doing this job,
Well, that comes with another aspect that some people feel with social media. It's always comparing yourself to others versus comparing yourself to the prior version of you. Which I strongly believe in, just comparing myself to the prior version of me. The only person I'm in competition with in this world is myself, right? And my own goals and my own strides. If I have friends or strangers or competitors doing better, good for them. I mean, they've done the work, they've put in the time, and they've gotten to where they are, and that's where we all do. And everybody has their own pace. So I do believe that some people out there are trying to keep up with the Joneses, like you said, not only financially, but also with this health world, right? Like, oh my God, if you're a gym rat, I deadlift 225, but he deadlifts 450 pounds or 600 pounds. And that's where the ego lifters come in, right? And then the major, I mean, how many ego lifters you see where they're just like doing a chest and like, I got one. Like, no, you didn't, bro. You barely got a quarter of a one. So like I love it because I go to the gym, often now, and I, see the guy before me doing a machine, and I don't give a shit what they're doing or what they're lifting, but they're always trying just like ego lift. And I'm like, I just knock the weight down. I don't give a shit. I'd knock the weight like quarter of the way down and then just do proper form. And I see the results quicker, and I'm happy with that. And so it makes you wonder, do people do the same thing on this dieting and longevity? Yeah. Are they going to the extremes where, yes, you're eating the food-wise that you're picking might be healthier, but the amounts and the averages of, you know, your macros and what you're consuming versus what you're burning, like all that craziness, are you going overboard and actually causing more harm than good?
Well, I think harm, I guess would be an interesting way to, like, how you define harm, right?
You're right.
I assume that if you're paying, no matter how much attention you're paying, you obsess over your health, generally it's not going to cause you actual physical harm, except for these people that, maybe decide that they're going to go on a 72-hour
Well, that's what I mean. I heard
something like that. I would not recommend that.
No, but I'm talking about the people that go that full extreme to try to get,
like, when you're talking about, like, when they're like counting every calorie, counting everything.
No, I'm talking about the person who sees, like, kind of what you just said, comparing yourself and keeping up with the Joneses. I'm talking about with the person that sees someone on social media that looks to be extremely fit, someone who has obviously dedicated their life to their health, their wellness, and their well-being in their gym, and it's great for them, have reached to where they are over however many years they've been working out.
Years, decades.
Yeah, exactly. To the person who started 2 weeks ago and wants to look like that tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so they go to these extremes to try to get there, and it's part of that. And I think the overload on social media for everything, whether it's, this instance we're talking about the longevity stuff, people feel like they can repair 10, 20, 30 years of whatever they've been doing overnight. Mo, it took me 10, 20, 30 years to do the harm. I'm just saying, if it took me 10, 20, 30 years, it ain't going to take you 2 weeks. It might take a year or two. It won't take you the same 30, but shit, it ain't going to be tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I do believe it's gone a little overboard, where it's just people are just constantly feeding into this thing, believing that it's the only right way to live. And to go along with your saying, are they enjoying their life?
Yeah.
Because some people
who cares how long it is?
Right.
You're having a miserable time.
And look, if you're someone who is a believer in longevity, and that is your lifestyle and that is what makes you happy, good for you. Like, that's how you enjoy. You enjoy waking up, having a super healthy meal throughout the whole day, doing your workouts. That's part of your life. So good for you.
Yeah.
Not part of mine.
Yeah. But and I mean, listen, I guess my perspective would be, you don't need to be one extreme or the other, right? The idea is you hit that balance. But I guess, I think we had mentioned earlier, like something that struck out to me, that it's, like, no one goes to the restaurant to go have like the salad and chicken with very, very few people.
Well,
you know what I'm talking about. But I mean, and I guess, we live in a city where food is so much part of the culture, and, there's always something going on. So I fully agree that you have to enjoy your life. You got to eat well. You got to do whatever. But I mean, you got, the Cuban sandwich, never going to fit on the diet. No. The flan, never going to fit on the diet.
Depends on the diet.
Yeah, I guess, as long as you're keeping the calories down.
Right. Or you're if you're balancing it out, you can fit in it.
That's fair.
But speaking on to that, you said the time, right? Like, hey, you spend so much time doing this and that. How am I going to get my 8 hours of sleep? Or how am I going to always make sure to pick something healthy when I'm preparing for a court, or I have 3-4 hearings the same day and I got to shove down, like, get that for lunch and then a quick sandwich and then run back in.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair perspective that some people would say, well, then just meal prep and have it ready. And I'm sure maybe they're right. I'm not going to say that they're not. But at the same time, healthy food and all these new places popping up in the city that we love, Miami, dude, this city's expensive as hell just to live. I mean, I think I was reading average rent now is over $2,700.
And wait. I love that stat, because they're like, average rent is $2,700. They usually forget to include the fact that you're talking about a studio for $2,700.
Well, I mean, and it's like, and you might find some 1-bedrooms for $2,700, but then you got to add, like, that's at the place where you got to add the parking and the light and the water and this.
By the time you're done, it's like $3,500 for a studio.
Exactly. And like, you're living, I mean, to the studio I lived in back in the day in Brickell had.
By the way, great spot. I remember.
Beautiful spot, but it has, I looked it up a couple weeks ago. I was just kind of curious, because real estate has gone out of control. Cost of living is out of control. So I looked up the exact same apartment just to see what it was going for rent. It has nearly tripled since I lived there.
So what'd you see? If you happen to see it, hit me with the number.
So last time I saw it, it's been a few months. So I got it at like $1,800 back in the day.
Yeah, we used to, and I remember, because that was what, like almost 10 years ago.
Dude, that was almost 10 years, like 8 years ago.
I remember, like, dude, you're spending how much on this?
Yeah.
Like, and I think it was a 1-bedroom, right? So it was better than most.
No, it was a studio.
Okay.
I just had it divided to make it look like a bedroom. because I was good at like separating.
Miami, you know.
Yeah, you gotta do Miami. I mean, you're a brand new lawyer. You don't make any fucking money. You know, you want to live nice.
Been there.
And I used the shit out of that place because it was, I mean, it was at the Icon.
Yeah.
It was beautiful,
Yeah.
like, gorgeous views. But it was about $1,800, right? Dude, I looked it up a few months ago. I don't know what it's at now. When I looked it up, it was like at $3,500. I'm going, gee, wild. It has doubled in price.
Yeah.
Easy double.
Well, that's a double. That's not triple,
Well,
but I like it.
well,
Close enough.
I'll do the numbers now. I'm going, no, it's actually doubled.
No,
I give it one.
You know what's funny? So, you know, I had that same thought, and I know I sound like just like a grumpy old millennial when I make this comment, but I remember, you know, Janelle and I had her like, you know, with her dad, her birthday dinner yesterday. Janelle's my girlfriend, and we were in Wynwood, and I remember even 10 years ago driving around in Wynwood. You parked on the side of the street. There was no parking, meaning no paid parking.
No.
Wood Tavern was there. Bro, I didn't even recognize it. It looks like any other like shopping district in the United States. You know, this, you know, the whole
It's
thing.
insane. It's insane. Do you remember the little Cardigos?
The what? The
Cardigos. They were the little white smart cards.
yeah, they would drive you around, huh?
So you'd have to rent it. So you have an app on your phone. You'd scan it, and the little tiny smart car two-seater, it would open the door, and then you can drive this freaking car. They put these things in the middle of Wynwood. You know how many drunk people would be like, hey, look, a little golf cart. Just beep, and then take a car straight down Wynwood. I'm like, oh, my God.
DUI waiting to happen.
Oh, no, 100%. I mean, the amount of times I'd go to my brother's house, who lived down the street.
Yeah.
My brother's old house, it was right by Martin Stadium. Well, the Cardigos are similar to how the scooters were, where it was a zone.
Dude, I love the scooters. I remember
The scooters were great, but the cars were even better.
many poor decisions
Oh,
made on
too
those
many
scooters.
poor decisions.
I don't even see them anymore.
They took them out, I think.
Oh,
The city took them out. Yeah, they let them
I don't blame them.
for the poor decisions.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
Well, with the Cardigos, you have to park it, kind of like the scooters, in the zone. If you don't park in the zone, it keeps charging you until you get back in the zone.
Yeah.
Well, my brother's house was in the zone.
You don't take the damn thing all the way from Wynwood to your brother.
100%. We parked it right. And then one day we went, it was him and a bunch of coworkers. Next day I got out, there was 5 Cardigos parked outside because they had them all parked outside. I'm like, what the fuck is going on
I
here?
like it. Your cops are gonna drive by. Be like, probable cause.
You'd see a bunch of people walking over there with their little phones trying to, where are these Cardigos all stacked up outside of his house in the zone? Like, this is great. But back to what you're saying, this is when Wynwood had, I mean, I remember when they put up the sign to say now you have to pay for parking with that, like a pay by phone.
Yeah.
Like, dude, what the hell? I've been parking here for free. Wood Tavern had no outside area. Well, first of all, that still existed. Then it didn't have the outside area.
Yeah.
And it would be the point where my brother would go so often and we'd Uber back home that he'd sometimes forget to pay the tab. Just go back the next day. Like, yeah, we'd be back.
Yeah.
Like, it was
It's like we know you. We know
yeah,
you.
like, you're a local guy. There's 3 bars here.
Most of the time you leave the card anyway. I remember those are probably the days where you still left your card, and I remember left it many times because I also would forget, and you know, Irish could buy it out of the bar.
Irish could buy it out.
But I still remember, I think Wood Tavern had that policy that if you forget to pay your tab and they have your card, they just add a 22%. It was like a 20 or 22% tip to the tab. And I thought it was more than fair, you know?
Yeah,
it is what
for
it
the
is.
inconvenience. No, but their service was always good. So you probably tip 20%. Anyways, the guys were great. But and then I remember that expanding. I mean, dude, about 2-3 weeks ago, Yanni and I, my girl, we went to Wynwood Wall. She's like, hey, let's go to Wynwood Wall.
Oh God, that's the wildest change for me. That now you have to pay.
Dude, now you gotta pay.
And there's lines. I don't think I've been back to Wynwood Wall since they gated it off.
Dude, when they gated it off, I walked in.
Right.
She's like,
How much did you pay to see that free art installation?
I will be honest, she paid, so I have absolutely no idea.
Oh, good sir. I didn't know.
She paid.
I know you treated you like the princess that you
Well,
are.
you know, sometimes the passenger princess. No. So she paid. I paid for food, which cost me more than the walls. But it was shocking to me that, I mean, you and I used to just walk around and be like, yeah, go check out the freaking walls.
Sometimes with or without a beer, you know, just.
Well, I mean, even with the didn't care back in those days. So you'd walk around the walls with a beer, like, we're still in an area.
Yeah.
So, I mean, one of my brothers proposed in there for free. Like, hey, why do you walk in there and hide? And, you know, he proposed the walls, and now that same area where he proposed, you have to pay to get into it. I'm like,
Yeah.
why? Why is everything like that? Like, oh, let's seal it off and now we make the money. Listen, I'm all about business. I'm all about making your money. I love it. But for the free art installation, it just seems like some things in Miami have really lost its actual value here.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's just trying to make a buck off of every tiny little thing possible.
Mm-hmm.
I still love this city. We still have a lot of culture, and we still have some of the best food in the country, especially all the Cuban and Venezuelan and Colombian food that we had. But dude, cost of living.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, I think I had that same, the same moving from like the Wynwood area. We both live down south-ish. I'm in like the Gables area, and an area that I really love is the Grove. And I mean, even going to dinner, going there during the day, going to Books and Books or any one of the businesses that I love in the Grove, you literally can't forget paid parking, because you got to pay for parking no matter where you're going.
No option.
But you literally can't find parking.
No.
You cannot find parking. It's gotten to the point where I live probably like 2 miles away from the Grove, like right by Miracle Mile in the Gables.
Yeah.
I will Uber.
Yeah.
I will literally Uber from the Gables to the Grove just if there's no parking.
Listen, where I live, we Uber because everywhere we want to go is about 15 minutes away. Yeah. And everyone's like, oh, but the Uber costs some money. Like, the parking is going to cost me more. I mean, it's just...
Pay, what, $30 in parking? It's going to cost you like $30 total getting there.
There and back.
Unless there's surge price.
I mean, but it is what it is. But even then, like we talked about before, I'd rather pay a couple extra bucks in surge pricing than worry about a DUI because I wanted to go grab a couple of beers at Coburn Grove.
Damn right.
So I'm not trying to take business away from you, but,
I'll be the first one to recommend it. Many times before my sober days. Now I'm a reformed days. I thank God for Uber and Lyft and any other rideshare company that I might not know exists.
It's cheaper than the parking.
Yeah.
As ridiculous as it may sound. But I mean, imagine, what's the average cost of a house in Miami nowadays?
Bro,
$500 million?
No. You send me an article that said $675. First of all, where? Because everything I see is like over $1 million.
Dude, when I saw my grandmother's house, when we wanted to let's get an appraisal just to see what it's worth and just to, I don't know, we've had it since the 60s, she passed, let's see what happens. The house is still in the family, because when we saw the price, we were like, yeah, that's ridiculous. I didn't even think it was worth that price, to be honest with you. I thought that was insane. Because it needs some upgrades and it's fine, but when I saw it, I was like, that's absurd to me.
Yeah.
Of what that house is appraised. And we got an actual appraiser to go out, check it out, and give us.
Yeah.
And it was like, how much? And we're like, well, we're not going to sell it now, but.
May as well keep it. Who knows?
Yeah.
You and I had the same conversation. I thought about selling my house, and I was like, hey, it's appreciated a lot.
Yeah.
Like, who the hell knows? You give it another year, another 2 years.
I mean, with anything, right? Any market, whether it's real estate, stocks, whatever it is, it could go up, could go down. We all know this, but it's just so high in Miami right now, just the average, just to live, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know how the average person lives here anymore. I'm going to be honest with you. It's just insane to see it where I'm just like, the prices are so absurd.
Yeah, I mean, going out to eat, going out to anything, and it's just...
You've got to find, like we do what we found, like when you had to go in Hialeah. It's still cash only, love that.
Yeah, we probably lose more money driving there.
Well, I mean, but still worth it every time.
Every time.
Last week we went.
What was it called?
Molina's
place. I have to say, so it's Molina's Cafeteria or restaurant?
Molina's.
It's just, the name was in Spanish, 100%.
Yeah, I don't know if it was Molina's Restaurant, Molina's Ranch.
Molina's Ranch. I will tell you, that is one of the best Cuban restaurants I've ever been to. And it wasn't just Cuban, right? Like, they had a bunch of other type cuisines, I think.
It's just Cuban.
Sure, I thought it was like catracha food. They had like,
No, that's what I noticed. All I saw was Molina's Ranch, pure Cuban. People love it. Middle of Hialeah, down the street from La Viña de Go. I will be honest with you. Yanni says it all the time. She says, Molina's is like the same or better. And I go, the same, maybe. But La Viña de Go to me is still...
I just think, you know what? To me, like when you think about places that are like real Miami, and I'm not going to pretend like I've been going there for years. I went for the first time when we went. Two months ago. The same. To the point where like we sat down, we had a beautiful meal, and I didn't even realize it was cash only, even though they literally put it on the front door.
You and I were sitting at the meal, looking at the table going, did you see that sign that says cash only? Because I didn't notice that. We need to go to an ATM.
I did. And you were cool enough to go to the ATM, and I was cool enough to be the hostage.
You were the hostage who might have to wash dishes if I decided to leave. But
I'm not.
We all started somewhere.
My first job was a server / dishwasher / utility man at an Italian restaurant.
Was it? Mine was Cold Stone.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, Alfredo, I can see how some of those desires stayed with you. I would have been 20 times heavier had I worked at a Cold Stone ever.
I was 20 times heavier.
but I will tell you, I had one of the greatest work experiences, which I think it's singular. I don't want to say it's singular to Miami, but I think it's like a story about Miami being such an interesting place. I worked in an Italian place. You know, I got the job because I begged for it. I had zero experience. I must have been like 16 or 17 at the time. I was here for the summer before, or I think it was either before college or right before my senior year in high school, because I went to that school in Georgia.
Yeah.
And I remember I begged for the job. Guy gave it to me. It was an Italian restaurant down south. It was like on almost like right past the falls, but right off South Dixie Highway.
Got you.
I think it was called Paolo Luigi's, if I remember properly. It was hilarious because the chefs were like 5 Haitian guys that barely spoke English, you know, and I spoke really, really like rudimentary broken French. And it ended up where like I was almost like a translator between like serving staff and kitchen staff. And, you know, I was like 17 at the time, I think. So they would literally like whatever they needed, food running, dishwashing.
I need a job. I need a job. I'm in.
I was like, I got to pay. You know, I got a girlfriend. I got to take her nice places. You got to do what you got to do.
We got to go out to dinner somewhere. We got to find out a way to make
But
money.
I will tell you a lot of credit to not just my dad's friends and my parents' friends. Almost every night that I worked, they would come have dinner at this restaurant, to the point where my brother was like, bro, you got to, you know, I got 3 younger brothers. They're like, Diego, like tell the parents to please stop going to that fucking restaurant. I'm so sick. I got like chicken parm coming out of my ears. But you know what? But
I love it.
of cultures. I mean, I think the owner was an Iraqi guy. The chefs were Haitian guys. Kitchen staff were like exclusively Cuban. And serving staff also Cuban, and me, you know, white Jewish Mexican, and that's Miami for you. You know, that's part of what's awesome about this city.
What's amazing about the city. I mean, it's just the fact that that's how we work. That's how the city still is.
Mm-hmm.
The cultures are always, you know, mixing together and sometimes clashing. And doesn't matter what specific neighborhood you're in, you're gonna run into every type of culture. But that's, you know, back in those days, you'd be able to get a job like that, work part-time, then take your girl out and have a nice meal and have a good time and still show her a good time, right? Nowadays, you can still find places in Miami and enjoy yourself. There's a lot of free things to do with the beach and all that stuff. But, dude, I mean, a kid who graduates high school is right out of college, and, you know, I've got a couple of friends, you know, that are family friends or friends of cousins or whatnot, you know, 18, 19, like, oh, yeah, I want to move out, and then they can't.
Yeah, good luck. It's
You
like
know, I mean,
$3,500.
Yeah. I mean,
Or, you know, go live in areas that are not the desirable areas where you got to drive 10 miles right to the fun area.
But dude, even Little Havana, I think that same article I sent you said something that the average rent had gone from like $700 and something a month to like $1,200-$1,300.
Yeah.
It's nearly doubled. And it may not seem like a lot of people are like, oh, $1,200-$1,300, it's not bad. And you're right, it's not bad. But those are more gentrified areas that can't really afford that, you know, nearly double in price of rent.
Not only that, most of them were roommates. I remember the first time I moved out, I had a roommate.
Yeah.
That's just what you had to do, you know, frankly, because my first lawyer paying job was nothing. But whatever, minor details.
That's the other thing. Not every lawyer makes a lot of money, especially right out of law school.
You really, and I'll tell you, I think I learned that the hard way because, you know, you graduate and you're like, all right, I'm a lawyer. I'm about to have all this cash, this nice car, and man, reality hits real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Reality hits real quick. But listen, you know, luckily, you know, things progress like in any career. And
well, if you work hard enough and you do it and do your thing, for sure, it progresses and you make more money and you become successful.
But I remember getting that first page. I was like, shit, I can't afford it. I can't afford that apartment.
No.
So, you know, what do? You got to adjust. And I think that's the interesting part because, you know, I think, remember when we used to get out of law school, it wasn't unusual to hear, all right, well, your first place, you got a roommate. I'm hearing now people got like 3 roommates, 4 roommates. And often it's like super weird living arrangements. Like it's
a lot of, so
but they got to do what they got to do.
Well, you got no choice. So the area by UM, right? So that whole Glenver Heights area, speaking of what you're saying, there's a lot of houses, like people own a full house. And what they do, because it's so close to UM, and that's where a lot of UM students want to live, they actually will have 4-bedroom houses and then essentially lease out bedrooms to different students. Mm-hmm. So these students are living in a full-fledged house, but it's not like you and 3 friends got together and moved into a 4-bedroom house.
They're using it as like student housing?
Yeah, basically they're taking the whole house that they have, that's a 3-4-bedroom, and use it like if it's a dorm. Like, hey, you have a kitchen, living room, and all these common areas, but we're going to charge you rent for this room, rent for this room, rent for that room. And so depending on which room you pick, whether it's the master or a smaller bedroom, that kind of equates to what your rent is. And they've been doing that for a while here, and that's I mean, those are college kids, so that's great if they're even able to do that. But imagine people who graduate college or graduate from, grad school or doctorate from law school, whatever they graduate with, and they have to do that now. And they're in their mid-20s, late 20s.
And that's, if you're by yourself, I have the thought often, my God, what happens if you have a young family or not so young family or just a family?
Yep.
And now you're 3-4 people going to share one bedroom because that's what you can afford. And it's tough. And we've had a giant, I think, influx of, whether it's the Venezuelan population or Miami, transplants from everywhere.
Yep.
And it's just tough. So everyone's driving the prices up. People are coming down from New York. So I think it's likely only going to go higher. I mean, I don't foresee prices coming down anytime soon.
I mean, you always read those articles that there's going to be a correction. There's been going to be a correction.
I've heard about
this 5 years. 5 years. I'm still waiting for the correction.
You're like, I'm buying that house the minute it
waiting for the correction. It's gonna hit right now. I mean, I don't know what correction they're talking about. No, and I mean, dude, I don't know. That's just the way it is. It's kind of insane. I mean, it's Miami, and a lot of people want to live here. Thankfully, we've worked
and that's
hard.
The lucky part, no? You're here. You already enjoy. You already live here. You already have that setup. Yep. But if you want to come here, I mean, I've heard of people, like, oh, I'm thinking about moving to Miami after, law school, grad school, whatever it is.
Right.
And they end up moving to, not hating Tampa, but like Tampa or Naples or
but even
some other area.
Tampa's not cheap anymore, man. I mean, it used to be, but now you've got to find you can still move out. Like if you live in Kendall, beautiful area. Kendall's gorgeous. But it's what you said. Now you got to drive 10, 20 miles to wherever you want to go.
And as a 20, 21, 22, 23-year-old, you want to be breakable. You want to run downtown.
But, you're not going to be. And then you have the other issue with Miami. Yeah, this article we were reading, what is it, 70, 80-minute average commute to and from work daily? I mean, that's almost an hour and a half a day.
I mean, I think, I live right by Miracle Mile, and that's, I don't even know how many miles from downtown. But, when I have to go to the federal courthouse, I mean, to say that it takes you an hour is no joke. No joke. And that's because you live already pretty central. If you lived in Kendall, if you lived in, now I'm seeing, and I think every time I go to the Keys, I went to the Keys on Memorial Day weekend, and you're seeing this giant buildup in like, if you go down on the turnpike of housing near Homestead and that whole area,
Florida City.
And I assume they're commuting to Miami because, unless you got remote
jobs out there. Yeah. It's insane.
Man,
dude, it's insane. The traffic's insane. The cost of living is insane. We have the World Cup coming up soon.
I love how that's gonna.
Oh my God! I think we have 5 or 6 games here at the stadium, so that's gonna bring in more traffic, more tourists. I mean, it's good for the economy. I'm not gonna say it's not. It's great for the economy. I mean, shit for traffic.
Oh yeah. By the way, did you see the whole thing on Frank or the what do you call it, Fritz and Fran's Deer House?
No, what with them?
That apparently, they are the owner of them. It's a different company name, but they're doing business as, the restaurant that we know and love. And
know and love for every World Cup we always go to.
Exactly. And, but yeah, that I guess they got into, I don't know what the initial buildup was because, everyone kind of assumed you're going to have the outdoor party,
with the big
whatever
projector like always.
But I guess the owner got into it with Coral Gables, and I don't know the background as far as whether he submitted the plan on time. They got all these permitting issues. Whatever it is. But for whatever reason, they wanted him to submit a new plan, and I guess he submitted it, and now the whole thing has turned sour. And I've read somewhere, I think even this morning, that they're thinking about actually selling the spot.
Really?
And basically saying, hey, I'm out of Coral Gables. It's not worth my time. It's not worth my energy. And, I hope that they're, I don't know if they've sold. I don't know what stage they are. And I frankly don't even know what caused it other than them not getting along or not being able to get the permits. But it's really sad, no? Like, that's a place that's, I mean,
for every big, cup event or whatnot,
they got the screen up. I remember when I did drink, they would bring you the big
old cup. Do you remember the boots that we used to get at the other German place?
Yeah.
Dude,
I don't know if Fitz and Franz ever had the boot.
They never had the boot. They never had the boot.
But they just had the
25 ounce
What was that
cup.
In base? I remember when people, we used to tell people that we were like, oh yeah, we're starting the night at this German restaurant. They're like, the one in Bayside?
Yeah.
Like Miamians don't go there. I was like, bruh, you haven't seen this, but you haven't seen this 2.5 liter boot of beer.
It's because you haven't gone for the reason that we go. And the sad part was that that's how we started.
Oh, yeah.
night. So it did not end
Yes.
very well.
Yes. As I said, now reformed.
You remember they used to give us the little tiny boot to go and hang it around your neck when you were done?
I was like, I've collected like 8 of those. I'm done.
He's like, you want to do boot?
Yeah.
I always like,
Yeah. We never did make it to Oktoberfest in Germany.
not yet.
Well, I don't drink anymore. I don't know how that would go. That'd be quite the interesting. That'd be quite the interesting.
Isn't there other activities that they allow over there in Germany?
I think I can figure something
I
out.
think you can figure something out. I mean, we got to go to Oktoberfest out there. That's got to be fun. I
Yeah.
actually thought about even going to because you went to high school up in Georgia, Oktoberfest over in Helen, Georgia.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
I've been to that. That's fun.
Is it?
They have the bars. I don't think they quite do the outfits, but they do the thing.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Helen, Georgia, I think. So I went to Riverside Military Academy, as you know,
Yeah.
and they are like an hour outside. Like it's an hour south of
idea.
Helen. But Helen is a super cool town.
Yeah, but it's like
We
a
did
whole
like the
little
whitewater.
German
Right?
town.
It's to say whitewater. It really like that. You sit in the tube and you just kind of go down the lazy river. Fucking blast. I don't
My
like
kind of whitewater rafting is right there.
Oh yeah. By the way, Fernando and I were talking about doing like the running with the bulls in Spain.
Let me know. I'll
We're
go
like-
with you to watch you
Oh,
guys run with the
I
bulls.
fucking told him. I was like, let's invite Alfred. And so me and I have a running joke that we're having like an early midlife crisis.
Jeez.
Based, previously with the skydiving thing, now with the running with the bulls, we'll probably be the only
God.
people over 25 that decide to
Doing
run
that
with the
shit.
bulls.
Dude, well, let me know when you go, because what I'll do is we'll rent an Airbnb that like faces it.
You'll just
And I'll just be there taking pictures, like, look at these dumbasses. I'll just film you guys the whole way, like, look at these morons.
So yeah, so that'll be fun.
It will be. It will be. But brother, it's been great talking about our wonderful city that is terribly way too fucking expensive. Sadly.
Yeah. But it's the place to be and where everybody wants to be, apparently.
Only the place that I'll probably never move out of because I love the city. I think I'll have a second home, but
Yeah.
I'll always have one here.
I agree.
But guys, thank you for coming. We really appreciate it. We'll be back next week, like always, talking about new topics, talking about our
Yeah.
beautiful city.
Thanks for joining us.